I'm Sienna, and I'm 31 years old. 3 years ago, I landed my dream job as director of development at a fintech company. The salary was incredible, more money than I'd ever made before. I was so excited that I called my parents right away to tell them. My parents, Richard and Carol, were thrilled. They insisted on having a celebratory dinner at their house. My younger sister Madison was there too. She's 7 years younger than me, 24 now. We had a nice meal. My mom made her famous roast chicken, and we opened a bottle of wine. Everyone was happy for me, or so I thought. Then, right after dessert, my mom's expression changed. She got this serious look on her face. "Sienna, we need to talk to you about something," she said. "Okay," I said, wondering what was wrong. My dad cleared his throat. "The pandemic hit our bakery really hard, we're behind on our mortgage payments." My parents owned a small bakery in town. They'd run it for over 15 years. I knew business had been rough during the pandemic, but I didn't realize how bad it was. "We're struggling to keep up with the monthly payments," my mom added. "They're $1,800 a month." "We were wondering," my dad said carefully, "if you could help us out temporarily, just until we get back on our feet, 6 months at most." I looked at their faces. They looked genuinely worried. These were my parents, they'd raised me, paid for my education, supported me my whole life. How could I say no? "Of course I'll help," I said. 6 months, right?" 6 months, my dad confirmed. "We'll take over the payments again as soon as the bakery recovers." "Thank you, sweetheart," my mom said, reaching over to squeeze my hand. "You're saving us." The next week, I set up an automatic transfer from my checking account to theirs. $1,800 on the first of every month. 6 months passed. Then a year, then 2 years. Now it's been 3 years, and they've never resumed the payments. Meanwhile, the bakery apparently recovered just fine. My dad bought new commercial ovens that cost thousands of dollars. My mom completely renovated the sales area with new flooring, fresh paint, and fancy display cases. They posted pictures of it all on Facebook, talking about how business was booming. But they never mentioned taking back the mortgage payments. I was living on half my salary. I'd bought myself a small apartment 2 years ago, so I was paying my own mortgage plus my parents' mortgage. It was crushing me financially. I drove a 12-year-old Honda Civic with a dent in the passenger door and a broken air conditioning system. In the summer, I'd arrive at work sweating through my clothes. I ate the cheapest food I could find: pasta with butter, rice and beans, ramen noodles. I brought lunch to work every day in a plastic container while my coworkers went out to restaurants. I couldn't afford to travel. My friends would plan trips to Miami or California, and I'd make excuses about being too busy with work. The truth was, I couldn't spare the money. My clothes were old and worn. I shopped at discount stores and thrift shops. I cut my own hair in my bathroom mirror to save money on salon visits. When my water heater broke 3 months ago, I took cold showers for 3 days because I couldn't afford the repair. Finally, I put it on a credit card, adding to my debt. All of this while my sister Madison lived at home with our parents rent-free. She worked part-time at some boutique in the mall, maybe 20 hours a week. But somehow she had money for everything. I watched her life unfold on Instagram and Facebook. New dresses every week, concert tickets, weekend trips to the beach. Music festivals, she went to Montreal, Miami, Austin. She posted photos of herself at fancy restaurants, holding cocktails that probably cost $15 each. It made me furious. I was sacrificing everything to pay our parents' mortgage while Madison lived like she didn't have a care in the world, and our parents said nothing about it. They didn't ask her to contribute, they didn't suggest she get a full-time job. I tried not to think about it. I told myself I was doing the right thing, helping my family. But the resentment grew every time I saw another photo of Madison having fun with money she shouldn't have had. Christmas arrived. I drove to my parents' house in my old Honda, which made a weird rattling noise the whole way. I'd bought presents for everyone even though I couldn't afford it. I'd put them on my credit card. A silk scarf for my mom that cost $250, a leather briefcase for my dad that was $180, a set of expensive perfumes for Madison that ran me $150. When I pulled up to the house, I noticed it looked different. There were professional Christmas lights strung along the roofline, the kind that cost hundreds of dollars to have installed. Inside, the house was decorated like something out of a magazine, garlands on every surface, expensive ornaments, and in the living room, a massive Christmas tree that had to be at least 9 feet tall. Under the tree were dozens of wrapped presents. Designer shopping bags with familiar logos, Tiffany blue boxes. Everything looked expensive. Christmas morning came, we gathered around the tree. Madison went first because she always went first. She opened a Gucci handbag, then diamond earrings, then the latest iPhone. She squealed with delight at each gift. Then my dad stood up with a big smile on his face. "We have one more surprise for you, Madison." He pulled out a set of car keys and dangled them in front of her. "No way," Madison said, her hands over her mouth. "Go look in the driveway," my mom said, grinning. Madison ran to the window and screamed. In the driveway sat a brand new Mercedes. White with a red bow on the hood like in a commercial. "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God," Madison kept saying. She started crying. She hugged our parents. "Thank you so much. I can't believe this." I sat there frozen. A new Mercedes cost at least $55,000. Probably more. My parents were buying my sister a Mercedes while I paid their mortgage every month for 3 years. "Your turn, Sienna," my mom said cheerfully. I opened my first gift. It was a plastic phone stand. The price tag was still on it. $5.99. The second gift was a car air freshener, $4.49. The third was a pack of white socks, $2.99. Someone had tried to peel off the price tag but hadn't gotten it all. I stared at these gifts, $13 total, while Madison got a Mercedes. "Be more modest, Sienna," my mom said, looking at my face. "Everyone gets what they deserve." The whole family laughed. My dad, my mom, Madison. They thought it was funny. I didn't say anything, I just smiled and nodded. That night, I stayed in my old bedroom. My parents had turned it into a guest room, but they'd left my old desk and the printer I used to use for school projects. I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about that Mercedes in the driveway. About the $13 in gifts sitting on the nightstand. About 3 years of mortgage payments. Around 2 in the morning, I got out of bed. I turned on the printer and logged into my bank account on my phone. I printed out every single bank statement showing the automatic transfers to my parents. 3 years of statements, $1,800, 12 times a year, for 3 years. I did the math on a piece of paper, $64,800. That's how much I'd given them. Then I wrote a note. I kept it simple. "If you have money for a Mercedes for Madison, I believe you can handle the mortgage, transfers are stopped." I left everything on the coffee table in the living room. The bank statements in a neat stack. The note on top. Then I packed my overnight bag as quietly as I could. I tiptoed down the stairs, avoiding the creaky third step. I grabbed my coat and my purse. The Mercedes was still sitting in the driveway with that stupid red bow. I walked past it to my dented Honda and drove home. It was 3 in the morning when I got back to my apartment. The first thing I did was log into my bank account and cancel the automatic transfer. Then I went to bed and actually slept. I woke up at 11 the next morning, to my phone exploding. 38 missed calls. My parents, my sister, over and over again. The voicemail started out desperate. "Sienna, please call us back. We need to talk about this." That was my mom, her voice shaking. "Honey, don't do this, we can work something out." My dad, trying to sound calm, then they got angry. "You're being incredibly selfish and ungrateful." My mom again, no longer crying. "After everything we've done for you." My dad, his voice hard. Madison sent texts. You ruined everything because you're jealous, you can't stand to see me happy. You've always been like this, always had to be the victim. My parents sent more messages throughout the day. You owe us, we raised you, we fed you, we paid for your education. This is what children do for their parents, you're supposed to help us. I read every message. I didn't respond to a single one. A week passed, I went to work, came home, lived my life. The calls and texts continued but less frequently. I didn't answer any of them. Then one evening, there was a knock on my apartment door. I looked through the peephole and saw Madison standing there. She looked different, her hair wasn't styled like usual, she wasn't wearing makeup, her clothes looked rumpled. I opened the door but didn't invite her in. "Can I come in?" she asked. "No," I said. "What do you want?" "I need to talk to you." "So talk." She looked down at her feet. "The Mercedes, Mom and Dad bought it on credit. They were counting on your payments to help cover it." "That's not my problem," I said. "I lost my job at the boutique last week. I can't make the payments, I'm staying with friends right now, sleeping on their couch." I didn't say anything. "I need you to resume the mortgage payments," Madison said. "Just for one more year, if you don't, I'm going to lose the car." "You're going to lose it anyway," I said, "you don't have a job." "I'll find something, I just need time, please, Sienna." "No, you need to leave now." She stared at me for a moment, then turned and walked away. After she left, I went down to the lobby and talked to the concierge. "I have some family members who might try to visit," I said. "I don't want to see them, please don't let them up." "Of course, Miss Sienna," he said. "I'll make a note." My parents kept texting and calling. After a few days, I blocked both their numbers, then other relatives started calling. My Aunt Linda, my Uncle Robert. Cousins I hadn't spoken to in years. They all said the same things: family is important. You need to help your parents, they raised you, you're being selfish. I'd let them talk for about 30 seconds, then hang up. It went on for 2 weeks, different relatives calling, trying to guilt me into resuming the payments. Then Aunt Linda added me to a family group chat. Suddenly there were 20 people in this chat, all my relatives. They started messaging immediately. "Sienna needs to understand the importance of family, her parents are struggling and she's abandoned them. This is shameful behavior." I watched the messages pile up for about 10 minutes, then I posted something. I uploaded a picture of the bank statements showing $64,800 in transfers, then I posted photos I'd taken on Christmas morning. The plastic phone stand, the car freshener, the socks with the price tag. Then I posted the photos Madison had put on Instagram of her opening the Mercedes, the Gucci bag, the jewelry. I typed one message. "Is this fair? Why don't you lecture my parents about favoritism instead of lecturing me about helping them?" The chat went completely silent. Nobody responded, not one person. I left the group chat. 30 minutes later, Aunt Linda called me. "Sienna," she said quietly. "I'm so sorry, I had no idea. Nobody told us the full story." "Now you know," I said. "You're right to be angry, what they did wasn't fair." "I know," I said, and hung up. After that, the calls from relatives stopped completely. After all the drama died down, I finally had my life back. And I started living it. The first thing I did was buy a new car. I'd been looking at Mazda CX-5s for a while, and now I could actually afford one. I walked into the dealership and paid a down payment without having to use a credit card. The car had working air conditioning, a backup camera, and it didn't make any weird noises. Driving it felt like freedom. Next, I bought furniture for my apartment. Real furniture, not the cheap stuff I'd been making do with. A comfortable couch. A proper dining table. A new mattress that didn't have springs poking through. Then I booked a vacation to Hawaii. I'd never been. I spent a week on Maui, lying on beaches, eating fresh fish, watching sunsets. I didn't feel guilty about spending the money, I'd earned it. Work was going great too. 2 months after Christmas, my boss called me into her office. "Sienna, I want to talk to you about a promotion," she said. "You've been doing exceptional work. We're creating a senior director position, and I think you'd be perfect for it." The promotion came with a significant raise, more money that was actually mine to keep. I also met someone. His name was Jason. I literally ran into him while jogging in the park one Saturday morning. He dropped his water bottle, I stopped to help him pick it up, and we started talking. He was a software engineer, funny and easy to talk to. We went for coffee that same day, then dinner the next week. Before I knew it, we were dating. For the first time in 3 years, I felt happy, really happy, not stressed about money, not resentful about my family, just happy. 6 months passed. 6 months of living my actual life instead of funding my parents' lifestyle. Then one Saturday afternoon, there was a knock on my apartment door. The concierge must have let someone up, which meant it wasn't my parents or Madison. I opened the door. My mother stood there. She looked older than I remembered. Thinner. There were dark circles under her eyes. "Can I come in?" she asked. Her voice was quiet. I hesitated, then stepped aside. She came in and sat on my new couch. "Nice furniture," she said. I didn't respond, I just waited. "We're having problems with the mortgage," she said finally. "We're behind on payments again." "That's not my problem anymore," I said. "Your father had a heart attack 3 weeks ago." That got my attention. "What? Is he okay?" "He's alive, but it was bad. The stress, the financial pressure, it all caught up with him." I sat down in the chair across from her. "I'm sorry he's sick, but I can't help with the mortgage." "We lost the bakery," she continued. "We had to sell it to pay off some debts, but it wasn't enough. Aunt Linda has been helping us with some money, but we're barely making it." She looked at me with tired eyes. "I'm not here to ask for mortgage payments," she said. "I need to ask you something else. Can you add us to your health insurance? Your father needs follow-up care, tests, medications. Our insurance isn't good enough. We'll pay you back for the premiums when things get better." I thought about it. Health insurance was different from mortgage payments. My dad had a heart attack. That was serious. "I'll do it," I said, "but only for 6 months, and there are conditions: no additional requests for help. No asking about the mortgage, no guilt trips. After 6 months, you're on your own." My mom nodded quickly. "Yes, agreed. Thank you, Sienna." She stood up to leave, then paused at the door. "The house looks nice," she said again. "You're doing well." "I am," I said. After she left, I called my insurance company and added my parents to my plan. It would cost me an extra $300 a month, but it was temporary and it was for my dad's health. 2 weeks later, Madison called me. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. "Hey," she said when I picked up. "I wanted to thank you for the insurance. Dad told me you added them." "Okay. I lost the Mercedes 3 months ago," she said. "The bank repossessed it, but I found a real job now, full-time, with benefits. I'm working at an accounting firm as an administrative assistant." "Good for you," I said, meaning it. "I'm sorry," Madison said suddenly, "for what I said in those texts, for how I acted, for everything." I didn't say anything. "I know you're not ready to forgive me," she continued. "But maybe we could meet for coffee sometime, when you're ready?" "I'm not ready yet," I said. "I understand. Just know that I'm sorry." "I'll think about it," I said, and hung up. 3 months later, my dad recovered fully. He got a job as a manager at a cafe chain. It wasn't glamorous, but it was steady income with benefits. My mom found part-time work at the local library. She shelved books and helped with the computer system. They called to tell me they were selling the house. It was too expensive for them to maintain. They'd found a small 2-bedroom apartment in New Jersey that they could actually afford. 6 months after my mom's visit, my dad called. "Sienna, I wanted to let you know I'm switching to health insurance through my employer," he said. You don't need to cover us anymore. Okay, I said. We'd like to see you, he said. Could you come to dinner? I'm working at this cafe now, and they give me a discount. We could meet there. I thought about it. Okay, I'll come. The following Saturday, I drove to the cafe where my dad worked. It was a small chain restaurant, nothing fancy. My parents were already there, sitting in a booth. Madison was with them. Everyone looked different. My parents looked tired but calmer somehow. Madison's hair was pulled back in a simple ponytail. She wore a plain blouse and pants, work clothes. I slid into the booth across from them. We ordered food. The conversation was awkward at first, then gradually became easier. My parents talked about their new apartment. How they'd downsized, sold most of their expensive things. How they were living within a budget now. We made a spreadsheet, my mom said. Like you did. We track every expense. Madison talked about her job, about the studio apartment she was renting in Brooklyn, about the online courses she was taking to improve her skills. I'm learning accounting, she said. Maybe I can move up in the company. The dinner continued. My dad brought out the food himself since he worked there. Burgers and fries, nothing fancy, but it was fine. The apartment is small, my mom said. But it's what we can afford, we're learning to live differently. We sold most of the expensive decorations, my dad added. The Christmas stuff, the fancy furniture, we kept what we needed and sold the rest. We made about $8,000 from everything. That helped pay off some credit cards. I ate my food and listened. I wasn't angry anymore, I wasn't happy either, I just felt neutral, like I was having dinner with acquaintances rather than family. How's your job going? My dad asked me. Good, I got promoted a few months ago. That's wonderful, my mom said. She seemed genuine, not fake enthusiastic like before. And I'm seeing someone, I said. His name is Jason, we've been dating for about 6 months now. That's great, Sienna, Madison said. I'm happy for you. After we finished eating, my mom looked at me seriously. I need to apologize, she said. For using you, for taking advantage of your generosity, for treating you like an ATM instead of a daughter. My dad nodded. We both do, we got comfortable with your help and forgot that you had your own life, your own expenses. We prioritized Madison and forgot about you. I'm sorry too, Madison said. I was spoiled and selfish. I didn't think about what you were sacrificing for us. I looked at each of them, they seemed sincere. But sincerity didn't erase 3 years of being used. I appreciate the apology, I said carefully. But I'm not ready to just go back to how things were. We understand, my mom said quickly. We're not asking for that. I'm seeing a therapist, I told them. To work through everything, to figure out how I feel about all of this. That's good. My dad said. That's really good. Maybe eventually we can rebuild some kind of relationship, I said, but it's going to take time, a lot of time. We'll wait, my mom said, however long it takes. We finished dinner and said goodbye in the parking lot. It was awkward but not hostile. Madison hugged me briefly, my parents looked like they wanted to hug me too, but they held back. I drove home feeling confused. Part of me wanted to forgive them immediately. They were my family. But another part of me remembered those 3 years, remembered that Mercedes, remembered those $13 Christmas gifts. Over the next few months, I kept my distance, I'd text them occasionally. Happy birthday messages, Happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, simple stuff. They texted back but never pushed for more, never asked to see me, never requested help. They were respecting my boundaries, which was more than they'd done in years. My relationship with Jason got more serious. We talked about moving in together. He'd met my friends, and I'd met his family. His parents were nice, normal people who treated me well. You never talk about your family, Jason mentioned one night while we were having dinner at his apartment. It's complicated, I said. Want to tell me about it? So I did. I told him everything. The mortgage payments, the Mercedes, the $13 gifts. walking out on Christmas, all of it. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he just said, "You did the right thing. They took advantage of you for 3 years, you had every right to stop helping them, and you still helped with the health insurance when your dad was sick. That's more than they deserved." Hearing him say it made me feel better, made me feel less guilty. My therapy sessions were helping too. My therapist, Dr. Martinez, helped me understand that setting boundaries wasn't cruel, that I didn't owe my family unlimited financial support just because they were family. "You're allowed to take care of yourself first," she told me. "That's not selfish, that's healthy." I started believing her. Now, a year after that Christmas, my life is completely different. I have my new car that runs perfectly, my apartment is furnished the way I want it. I take vacations when I feel like it. I go out to dinner with Jason without checking my bank account first. I have savings now. Real savings. An emergency fund that could cover 6 months of expenses. A retirement account that's actually growing. Jason and I are talking about getting engaged. Nothing official yet, but we both know we're heading in that direction. As for my family, I talk to them occasionally. I called my dad on his birthday last month. I sent my mom flowers for Mother's Day. I texted Madison when she posted about getting a promotion at work. But I don't see them often, maybe once every few months. We meet for coffee or lunch, have a brief conversation, then go our separate ways. It's not the close family relationship we used to have, but honestly, that relationship wasn't real anyway, it was based on me being useful to them. This new dynamic is more honest. They know I'm not their backup plan anymore, they know I have my own life, and they're learning to respect that. My mom called last week and asked if I wanted to come to Thanksgiving at their apartment. "I'll think about it," I told her. "No pressure," she said. "The invitation is open. I probably won't go. Not this year, maybe next year, maybe never, I'm still deciding. What I do know is that I'm happy. Genuinely happy. I'm building a life with Jason, I'm advancing in my career, I'm traveling and enjoying things I could never afford before. My family had to learn the hard way that I wasn't going to fund their lifestyle forever. They lost their house, their bakery, their Mercedes, all of it. But they're managing now. They're working, budgeting, living within their means. They're doing what they should have been doing all along. And I'm free. Free from the guilt, free from the financial burden, free from being taken for granted.